Yo, what's up, all you burner stoners and potties? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Ready to get baked.
I'm ready, too. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we got Midwest Terpzz in the house. Say
We
hello,
do.
fellas.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's going on, everybody?
We got E and T in the house. And before we get started with this shenanigans, we're going to get normal. Right?
Let's do it.
Let's light that up there. T, what are we smoking, E?
We're smoking a Dung Drop number 6, I believe. One of the cup winners that we just had in the Gems and Genetics Cup.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about the flavor profile on this Dung Drop. Now, I've smoked one of the strains that you gave me. What is this one all about?
This is a cross between lemon cherry gelato and high fructose corn syrup. So the one that we're smoking now is a little bit, this is a sweeter profile of the two. Number 6 is a little bit dankier, and it's got that pungent, just gassy smell that everybody loves.
I mean, I've been smoking your stuff now for what? We met. So before we talk about what we're smoking here and we ask people who are you all, I want to just tell a quick story of how I met you both. And the first time I met you both was at Little Bean Farmers Market, right? Yes, and I normally when I go around, to these events, after we're done setting up our booth, I usually have either edibles with me and I walk around, I introduce myself, or if I don't, I still just go around and introduce myself and say hello to people, because a woman at an event one time told me, if you ain't working, you ain't networking, and if you ain't networking, you ain't working.
Facts, that's true.
And this was a woman who was selling candles at one of Charlie's events, at Little Bean Farmers Market's events. And I wish I remembered her name, but her candles are spectacular. And when she told me that, I'm like, I always do that, but I never like really like thought of it that way. Like I always walk around and say hello to some people if I bought something from them. Thank you, sir. And when she told me that, I'm like, that makes fucking perfect sense, because I've been in sales for a very long time. So after that event, I just always started just walking around saying hello to everybody, introducing myself, say, hey, come by our booth if you want me to roll you a joint, stuff like that. And it was your first event.
It was.
Right?
I remember this vividly.
Yeah.
Was it really I didn't realize
it was
that
our first event.
Oh,
It was.
Oh, cool.
And I walked I was walking through all the aisles, saying hello to people. Oh, wow, that tastes great. Walking around to everybody. And there's T&E. Sitting there, and I came up and I introduced myself, right? And I said, hey, I'm Boot with 8 Decades We Met 420 Chronicles. How you guys doing? And you're like, man. I'm like, damn, what do you guys got here? We talked, we shot the shit for a little bit. And then you gave me, what did you give me? A couple of joints to smoke or something like that? You gave me some weed or something?
I believe it was a Lake Effect is what we had. That was the only strain we had that event.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I need to talk to you about Lake Effect, but we'll go into that later. But that was such a special event because that was the first time I met the two of you. And I met a lot of new people at these events and a lot of cool people, but we kind of all bonded a little bit in that brief moment, and I thought it was dope. And I remember you sent me a message or something like that. You're the only fucker that came up and talked to me. Yep. I was like, that's dope as fuck. Sweet. I'm glad I network. I'm glad that woman taught me something. If you ain't working, you ain't networking. If you ain't networking, you ain't working.
Thank you, LaTanya and company.
Yes.
That conversation stood out very, very vividly. With it being our first event, we were pretty much like deer in headlights. Being in that environment with it, being open consumption and then being able to, take donations at your table.
Yeah.
So it was a lot to absorb, and then Mr. Weedman came up and broke the ice, man. I mean, really made us feel welcome in the environment that we were in. And that really spoke volumes and stood out for us because not too many people came up to us and spoke and introduced themselves and had an intimate conversation the way we did on a first-time basis. So
yeah, that's cool.
I appreciate that, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you both. And now
I
we're
didn't
friends.
realize that. I thought that was just like the first time that we connected paths. I didn't realize that was your first event. So that's super cool.
Nope,
yeah,
first event.
that's super cool.
And we became friends. And then I remember we were doing another event, and I had asked you, because I tried your weed, and I was like, holy fuck, we need to get them to like sponsor our table. And I'll never forget, Tommy came and he had a bunch of stuff for us.
Yep.
Thank you
Yeah.
for all that. All good weed, the ashtray, the jars with the lights in there and all that stuff, which I always forget them. I have them in I always forget to bring them.
No,
'cause I
those are
want-
for you. Those are for you guys.
Yeah, but I like bringing them up to the table so people can see the weed that when you sponsor the table,
Right.
Yeah.
so they can see. I mean, they smell it.
Because he talks about you at the table. You've seen him.
No,
Yeah,
you saw,
yeah.
me,
Talks
you
all
saw me
about
at,
you guys.
at that
Blue Island.
Blue
Yeah.
Island, but you also saw the last event that we did when you came out,
that
and
at
we what was that? That was
Stash?
the Legacy event, right?
Yeah,
the holding it
Stash.
down.
That was the
Holding it
stash.
down.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was a
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good event. But you saw, I mean, people eyes, man, were lit. So before we go into all this, let's go into what we're supposed to talk about. Who the fuck is Midwest Terpzz, and how the fuck did you get that name? And the logo's dope too. I love my T-shirt too. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Well, Midwest Terpzz is me and this fella here, and then we got a third counterpart in Michigan, the homie Josh. And Midwest Terpzz, the name came about through the social equity lottery. We had an opportunity to submit an application, and we had the LLC and come up with a business plan, business name. So we were able to put in 2 applications for that, and one of the names that we came up with for one of the applications was Midwest Terpzz, and then the other one that he's going under was Higher Elevation. So that was how Midwest Terpzz came about, man. Before that, it was Farmer John.
Farmer John.
Farmer
I like that
John.
one, too.
I like them all.
That'd
They're
be
all
a great
good.
name for a strain, though.
Yeah.
You know, or kind of little side project, you know. I like the Farmer John one, too. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So
The
that's
alter
how,
ego.
Yeah, yeah.
So it actually kind of suits the name, too. Being in the Midwest, you know, and then your fucking weed is
And your
terpy.
weed is so terpy. I mean, it's pretty appropriate.
You called it something else the other night, though. What'd you call
Juicy.
it? Juicy.
It literally looks like the
Juicy.
terps are just going to drip off of it. You don't even need a rosin press. You just look at your bud
Just
and it's like,
scoop it.
woo.
Thank you.
It's so pretty.
Thank you.
It's so pretty. Yeah.
And
good stuff.
So we talked about the strain we're smoking. So, but you have many other strains you've been doing. But how did you both get in the game? And kind of like, how'd you meet? Like, you've been friends for a while. You kind of just met on a whim, kind of like how we met. But like, how did you both get in the game?
We met at a job. I'll let him tell that story.
Yeah, we met at a job. Actually, I had just moved back to Seattle and transferred over, and then met him. And actually, like my first day of training was him. We chopping it up. He's like, "Oh, I'm a grower," and I'm telling him, "Oh, that's what's up." I was like, "I was just out in Seattle," and I'm telling him all these stories about like, "Hey, it's markets and these festivals and all of this stuff, and it's great, and it's like it's this dopeness to it." And then, you know, like things happen and I go to another job, but he stays there and goes his own way. But we keep in touch. And then one moment he comes to me and he's just like, "Hey, I'm going to start growing." I'm like, "All right, cool. He going through the process and stuff. You know, I'm getting my bud at this point off in because this is my buddy." I'm like, "Hey, whatever. I'm going to just get it from him." So going through the process and stuff, like I said, and he gets to a point where he's like, I'm like, he gives it to me. He's like, "Try this." He's like pushing hard on me to try this. He's like, "I think this might be really good." I'm like, "All right, I take it."
All right,
and I
fine.
looked at him like, "Wait, what's going on?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Where did you get this from?" He's like, "This is me." And I'm like, okay. And then I give it out to a few of my buddies, and they're all on it. And I'm telling him again, like, "Hey, man, we got to find out if it's events and farmers markets or things like that." That's what they call them out in Seattle. They were more like farmers markets.
Right.
And I'm telling him, like, we got to get out there and just see what the community think about it, because I think they're going to really like what we got.
Sweet.
And that's
So
how
it
you
was
guys
just like
connected.
it was just a friendship at work. But
Yep.
like both of you were you hesitant to talk about weed because you weren't sure if the other one was into it?
I don't think I really had. I think he said we said
You didn't even talk about it.
No, we talked
You
about
did.
it because I was
Very
like,
openly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool.
Because he came from Seattle, and Seattle market was more. They were a little bit more. They started before us, so their
Right.
market was
A little more mature.
right versus ours being newer. So he, like he said, he had all the stories as far as like the farmers markets that
Yeah.
were going on. So when we met at that job, we kind of parted ways, and then COVID hit. That's when I started growing, and then I kind of had a choice. I was working at WeatherTech, so with when COVID hit, I think they were giving out furloughs because we had the whole warehouse got
Yeah.
COVID, so they started giving out furloughs, 2-week furlough here and there, and then they had the unemployment thing that was going on. So we had an option on the third furlough, either take it or stay with the company. So I took it, and on that third furlough was kind of like they gave you your resignation on your way out. But that gave me the room to do everything that I needed to do with COVID, and then the focus on the growth. And that's when he presented, hey, we should start doing these farmer markets after we had the whole social equity lottery, which we didn't get the lottery. So we had 2 applications for that.
Were you trying for it in Illinois or
correct? Here in Illinois, yep.
So isn't that funny? It's just like a place and a situation. Like you both had this knowledge and you both had this like passion and drive about it, and something brought you. It all just came together, right?
Yeah, just
right
naturally
time.
coincided. And
Yeah, and
here
thank
we
you,
are.
COVID, right?
Yeah, and then COVID hit.
Yeah,
and I was able to. I call it the dungeon.
Yeah.
So I was able to focus full-fledged on the craft, and that's what brought us here today to have this conversation.
So you how long have you been growing for then?
On and off for 10 years.
10 years? Okay.
Full-fledged since COVID. So
like getting super serious.
Consistently since COVID. So everything that you're seeing now is a byproduct of since COVID started.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So thank COVID.
Then COVID.
Some good and bad things from COVID.
Some good
but yeah,
things.
That was a plus. A lot of people made their debuts through COVID. A lot of people got into the growing aspect of things through COVID.
And you create your own strains too.
Yeah,
correct?
we are currently doing that. We just started doing that.
Sweet.
They're beautiful. Yeah. And you get your genetics. I think I'm probably.
That's okay.
I'm just starting to talk.
That's it.
I gotta follow my outline. All right, Mr. Weedman, take control.
Go ahead. This is the flow of the conversation.
Yeah.
We want to learn.
Oh no, so yeah, you do create your own strains.
We do.
Yeah.
When COVID hit, we were doing a lot of pheno hunting, and then since COVID, we've done a lot of selecting through other breeders, and then some of those strands that we've kept through the selective process, we started breeding. And then we started entering some of them into the cups, and some of them have placed, some of them haven't. But now that we've got a lot of these cup winners and placements, we want to start doing reversals and start introducing it out to the market. So everybody else can have a little piece of the pie too.
Sweet.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Because your weed is great. So
Thank you.
it's you, Mrs. Weedman.
Oh, let me get my glasses on. All right. How has the process of growing changed since you first started growing? I mean, you guys, were you growing also, T?
Not too much. Just like, just out in the community and taking it all in, more or less.
Okay. So you were like the network and the resource, right?
Yep.
Research development. That's it all, right? I do a lot of that.
He was the Mr. Happy at the time.
Yeah.
Get
you got
his
out.
homies to try.
Connect
Get his
with
homies
people,
to try.
find out
Mr.
what
Happy,
people like.
The Mr. Happy.
Yeah,
Hey, try
yeah.
this and let me know. Next thing all his homies were floating in the air going, this is the one. Tell E this is the one.
That's about it.
Like, I think that obviously growing the plant hasn't changed, right?
No,
The length of time and things like that, but technology has changed things. Social media,
It has.
yeah. What have you been?
Well, when I
impacted?
started growing, I was using HPS, high power sodium, and man, you talk about high electric bill and heat, and you could heat the house in the winter with the HPS, but it was a good transition going from that to LED. As far as the consumption, energy consumption, and you can do a lot more with the LED. I think the yields were better with the HPS, but the quality is definitely a tier up with the LED lights.
And HPS is like old bulb.
Correct. You get
Incandescent.
those
Yeah.
almost a foot long bulb.
Yeah, like a fluorescent
Yeah,
bulb.
if you were to put your hand on it, it'd
They're like
Burn.
they're like
Yeah.
3,000
Hot,
watts.
hot,
Yeah,
hot.
yeah, you'd have to have
Yeah.
the intake and outtake to cool
Yeah.
these hoods. It'd be so hot. But yeah, that transition was because I built my room around the HPS. So when the LEDs started coming out, the whole room had to be revamped and rebuilt, restructured. Holes had to be closed. But the technical process of growing didn't change. No. But I still do a lot of old traditional things and things that some growers don't do that they probably think I do. No, I don't use one thing I don't use is CO2. So I don't use a CO2. I don't use a drip system.
Okay. It's all
I only
manual.
use a mushroom bag.
I don't even use that.
I use a mushroom bag. I got a small little tent, so I put a mushroom bag in there too. So
fresh air intake, outtake. That's what I got going on.
Right.
But the room that I had, I built, like I said, around the HPS, and then when we went LED, I thought it would be a concealed room, so we had a kind of like a positive vacuum. So there was a leak in the room. So to compensate the leak, instead of having the CO2 in there and the CO2 just evaporating through the room, I decided to do an intake and just force the old air out through the leak. So
like a passive system, or
right. So
Okay,
instead of fighting the positive negative vacuum, I just forced air into the room. So it's a fresh air intake.
high.
So there's a leak somewhere where that room, the air in the room is going out as the fresh air is coming in.
Nice.
Perfect.
Worked out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Work with what you've got, right?
Yeah.
MacGyver,
Yeah.
That's like something you
right?
would come up with.
Accidentally.
MacGyver. Or Frank Lloyd Wright. I mean, he knew some things about airflow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So let me ask you a question. Since legalization's been happening in more and more states, we see more legal dispensaries. We're more part of the legacy industry, traditional market, as we like to call it, farmers markets, as we like to call it here. But you have legalization now in dispensaries. How have you seen the change in your clientele, maybe, or in people buying more to the dispensary? Have you lost a little bit of weight because people are going more to legal side of things? Has it changed your business model at all?
I see people leaning towards the farmer markets only because of the taxes in the dispensaries are so high, and people come to the markets looking for deals. You know, they're balling on a budget, as I like to say. So, I mean, we have a lady, I forget her name, but she came in and she was complaining about the cover charge that it took $25 from her, and that was $25 that she was going to spend in the event. So I told her, what would you have spent that $25 on? And she was like, this, and this. And I told her, well, take that, and that, and give me what you got. So, I mean, it's things like that when you see people that can't afford.
You can't do that at
You
a
can help.
dispensary.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, they can't afford. Right, they
dispo.
can't afford to go to the dispensary.
Yeah.
And
Hey, I got 50,
But you're
I got
winning.
40
You're winning a
bucks.
customer for life.
right,
Yeah.
Because
So
you're
you
changing,
have regulars like that come to these markets because they know what they're getting, and you know, if they don't have it at that point, look the other way and just give it to them. You know?
Right.
You know,
Right.
T, how has it affected you with marketing and meeting people and stuff like that? Has it affected you more?
Actually, the legal market makes it a little bit easier because people, like, when they see the quality, it automatically draws them in, and then you start talking to them about donations and all this other things, and they're like, "You serious? Like, I know what you have right here is worth more than that, but you're selling it for this." I'm like, "That's what it is."
They smile when they walk away. They smile. They're like, wow. But that's sales 101. Take care of your customers' needs, their wants. I'd rather have a regular customer all the time than have just come to me once.
True.
And then they don't come to you ever again. But if you take care of people's needs and wants, and they see that, and they see the quality, I mean, all right, going to a farmer's market and seeing you guys and being able to smoke. Now you guys have hosted my table, okay, at many events, and these events are legal. We're just a bunch of people smoking weed.
Right.
We're not selling weed. We're just basically guerrilla marketing our brand, right, and trying to build our brand.
Yep.
So when I've done brunch of stoners, I've done a lot of events with your weed, and you can even ask. Let's tell this story. I told this on an episode, but we'll tell it again at Tilton in Parkway when we did that big event, right? And okay, so I'm rolling joints for people. I can't remember the strain that I rolled this guy, but I'm rolling strains.
The old guy from Florida.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I saw
yes.
that. I saw that on the podcast.
And this dude, after he walked away, we shared us. I'm like, dude, I got my own. This is for you. Take that with you, and make sure you give these guys a follow. If you ever see him at a farmer's market, tell him you met me. And he's walking away. He came back with like a half an hour later going,
Yeah.
I couldn't get past 2 puffs.
Yeah. He's like 2 puffs, and I'm baked.
That dude never smoked no shit like that before.
He's
You know what
like,
I'm saying?
he said that. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm never rich.
Yeah,
Like
and
that.
he was from Florida.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
got good weed in Florida.
South
And they
Florida.
do.
Yeah,
I
South
know.
Florida. He was
Really,
down by
really
the
good
Keys.
weed down there.
Yeah,
And he used to
but
move
he
some
did
of
not
that. Yeah.
know what hit him. When he came back, and I said, "That's definitely no dispo weed." He's like, "No, that's for sure." He's like, he was in love. I mean, he was like, but he was baked. He's like, if this is the kind of shit they're growing up here, holy shit! I was like, yeah, man, this is no joke right now. Now go around to all the craft growers and big growers that were a part of that event. Nobody had the weed that we had. Did I have a line?
We had a line.
We had fucking like 10 to 15 people lined the whole time. I was nonstop. I think I rolled like 100 joints that day.
Yeah.
packed.
Yeah.
You know, and I love it. You guys, and I'm gonna throw some other shout outs to some other people because you know them. They're all homies. You know, our boys at Ralph Wiley. You know, Three Trees.
Yeah.
The guys that have sponsored the show and given us weed to do events with. Do people when they fucking see the weed and smell? I mean, you saw what I did. Yeah. I give them the full fucking experience, right? Yeah. They get to smell, they get to look at it, they get to choose which strain they want. And when they walk away, right, they're in a whole new world. You know what I'm saying? So they're so like, and they get to experience what weed should taste like, weed should smell like, and where we need to go, and where they need to get good weed from. Or if not, learn how to grow your own.
Yeah.
True.
And grow better weed than you're buying.
Yeah. That was the motivation behind us growing too, was to have some consistency in what we were consuming. You know, the cart game is also the same way. It's up and down here, left, right, and it's good to have something consistent.
Yeah.
We smoke 90% of what we do is flower.
Flower.
Yeah. We smoke some hash on Saturdays. I don't smoke hash out of the house. It just gets me too geek. I love hash. I love it, right? We love it. But I don't like it out of the house. Or I want to be home or in somebody's house. Right. I can't be out like in public, man. I smoked some hash at a fucking event. I was trying to roll joints. And I'll blame her, right?
Shaking.
Operation Fox. I'm sitting there. My blood pressure drops. I'm sitting there. I'm like,
shaking.
Fuck this, man. I couldn't even work. She got me so baked. Fucking Operation Fox.
She walks around with her Puffco.
Fucking whatever she smokes
hash
out
all
of.
day long.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do that, you know. But I love hash. I'll smoke it here or at someone's house. But I just can't do it out in public. It's just like, nope, I'm good.
I'm the same way. This guy here, he goes to town.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What can I say? Living out in Seattle, I'd be like downtown Seattle, and you like just smell it walking down the alley. Like, oh, we can smoke out public here as long as we're not being visible. It's like, okay. The smoke everywhere. The smell of weed is everywhere out there when you get out there.
Oh, I love smoking weed. I'll smoke flower anywhere, but hash.
Yeah,
it's in my house.
A little bit of everything.
But I love it because I'll sit and we smoked last Saturday. We watched the movie. Don't ever watch the Terrifier.
Oh my
Scared
God,
the shit out of Mrs Weedman for life.
Terrible. It is terrifying.
Don't ever watch the Terrifier. Don't ever watch the She will never watch the Terrifier again on hash either. Because that movie was. Do you ever see the movie Terrifier?
No.
It was just terrible.
It's terrifying.
Is it a newer movie?
Yeah.
It's came out in 2016. It's,
I guess it's not new.
Art the Clown. Fucking, he wears black and white
Yeah, I know what you're
mime,
talking
and he
about.
just fucking murders
There's the
people.
number 3 though, right?
Yeah,
That's the number 3.
we only watched one.
I'm
And
not watching
I
anymore.
warned her.
Yeah,
I warned
no
her. I
way.
said, yo, do not watch this fucking movie. You're not going to like it. I'll try it. Crying. Literally
not
in
like-
tears. Like scared. Not like
it just hit me before bed. I'm like, that guy was creepy, and then I just started like crying. I'm like, oh, it was
so
like
high.
really weird.
So high. But that's hash. I love
Yeah.
it. But do you have you pressed any hash or done any hash? Dude, your shit would press.
No, Josh in Michigan, he's out there pressing some of our stuff now. He's the expert. He's the one that's handed down all
Hi,
his
Josh.
knowledge.
Wish
to
you were
me.
here.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? But that's his field of expertise. So
Nice.
once he gets all that down and figures out what's washing and pressing, he's gonna pass that on to me, and me and this guy here, we're gonna start doing it. So it's in the making, just not yet.
Nice. I
Now
can't wait
that
to
we've
smell it,
perfected
taste it,
the growing-
smoke it.
One thing at a time.
yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
I'm looking
That's
forward
gonna
to
be good.
trying that. I'm looking forward to smelling it first.
We had some of the lake effect. I don't think we gave any to you. We had one round of it.
I'm not worried. But next time you come, I see you. I just want to smell it
I got you.
first, and then smoke it. But the smell, that's
It's
how you
gonna be
know
amazing.
knows. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to see. Oh my god, that's gonna be whoo. It's you, Ms. Weedman.
It's me.
Yeah.
I got another question.
You
All
do?
right, guys.
I told you I'd reel it back in.
Thanks.
We go out a little bit,
I'm
and then we
okay
just
with
come
that.
back in, right?
I'm really baked, but it's
Yeah.
great. It's like
Yeah,
a great,
true.
yeah,
Same.
yeah. I'm here. So, what are your favorite strains, both of you, and what are you most proud of, and why? As far as your strains go, yes.
You want to go or you want me to?
They
Rock,
really
paper,
give
scissors.
one. Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Who's going first?
No, yeah.
I'll go. I would say right now, probably Dunk Drop, because it's won the cup twice. It won and then it defended. Then I would say behind that would be Cherry Tree number 3.
That
That
that blew people's minds.
That one holds a spot in my heart because it was our first win. So it took 3rd place at our first cup that we entered.
Sweet.
And that one was out on a limb. It wasn't planned. We saw the competition and then we're like, hey, let's enter it. You know, not expecting anything. And then we went out there and we won. So
Sweet.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
probably those 2.
Cool.
I have to say Lake Effect and lemon cherry gelato. No, lemon cherry garlic.
Oh, I don't think I had the gelato, but I don't think I had
Yeah.
the garlic.
People were dying for that one at the stash event when they heard that. Remember when I was walking around with some of the pre-rolls?
Yeah.
And when I named that, Jason from Illinois News Joint came over and grabbed my one left that I was going to go home and smoke. And he's like, oh, I was talking to him. He said about, I'm like, I really like to try this. I'm like, fucking, I haven't got a chance to smoke this yet. I gave a bunch of these away, but it's Jason from Illinois News Joint, and I love the dude. So he got that last one. I was bummed. So, but the smell of that was wicked. Remember those dudes that crowd around you when I had them asking about that strain? They were pretty highly impressed, and those were all like nerdy nerds, weed nerds, you know. And when I mentioned that strain and brought you over them, I had to walk back to the table, but you had them geeking out for like a good.
Yeah, they kind of held me hostage in the corner for a while. But yeah,
I was gonna try to call you over, and then all of a sudden they finally dissipated a little bit, and you made your escape.
Yeah, so that lemon cherry gelato, man, it'll draw a crowd, man.
Yeah, people were like
will.
fucking. I mean, they came stalking you. Woo!
Yeah. I forgot about that one. That one's, dude. That's a stinky plant, man.
I mean,
So why are those 2 your favorite?
Just lemony.
Yeah.
Is the lemon cherry garlic? Just got that gas, that lemony smell, really potent, real heavy.
Yeah.
Same thing though with the Lake Effect. Lake Effect's really heavy, really mellow, really smooth to me. It's always just like a good, just end of the day tote.
Yeah. We use that before bed. That's our like nighty night toke. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the Lake Effect real quick because I opened that bag and people could smell it like a block away. That shit is fucking, dude. It doesn't agree with my nose though. I love smoking it. But it is like, it has this smell that I cannot fucking get the name of it, like capture. And my nose is usually pretty good.
But you
My
can't
taste
identify
buds suck.
what.
But my nose can capture things pretty good, and there's a fucking stink in that fucking Lake Effect, and it's like, what is this fucking smell?
I tell them baby shit, like so baby poop.
That's what it smells like, right? But I don't want to
Like-
say it. It smells like dookie. I'm like, dude, why does it smell like? It's just like, no. I'm like, it smells
sour, like a
so
sour.
Yeah.
It's sour.
I've said baby throw up.
Like,
Yeah.
and
that's
like the
it,
white-
it hits
yeah.
you in the back of the
Yeah, like
fucking
that
throat,
burn,
the
that
glands right
acid.
here. When you open that shit up and smell it, I like sour shit, but I'm like, that's shit. Like straight
Yeah.
up. But I tell you what, though, that shit knocks me the fuck out. Like I can't function or talk very well on that, and I just want to go up and lay down and go to sleep. That's the kind of weed I like. But the smell, man, that bag, like at events, right? When I open that bag
Yeah.
up, people are like,
"Woo."
"What the fuck is that? Is that?"
That's
'Cause I got,
loud,
oh my god,
right?
very loud,
Yeah.
very loud. What's the secret to that? Like, how do you get it to pronounce that smell, man? All your weed.
That's like you're asking for secrets.
No, I don't want a secret. I don't need the secret. I just want to know,
Like
does he
a basic
does he
philosophy
kiss it,
kind
love
of
it, milk it, you know, whatever.
It's really just the environment, the temperature and the humidity.
What do you keep your humidity at during flower? This is an
Flower
hour to anybody.
or drying?
Oh, drying. Okay, so
During my flower, late flower, I go down to 50,
Okay.
50, 55.
What's the temp
the
at?
end. It all depends. Like an example, that goat glue, we just entered that, and I was watching a lot of people's entries, and they were growing their strands purple. So I ran my room a little bit hotter so it wouldn't purple out, so it came out lime green. So I mean, it all depends on what expression you want from the
Right.
plant. The colder you run the room, the more the plant would turn colors.
because most of the goat glue turns purple, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I have pictures of it and I can show it to you. But if you
I like
look,
you kept your temperature a little higher.
I'd harvested it at 83 degrees.
Woo!
And it didn't purple out at all.
Nice.
And I did it
Well,
on purpose because I saw a lot of everybody else's.
But here's the thing: if
You
so
wanted
many
to
people
stand
entered
out,
that
right?
that way, yours might stand out different because if 3 or 4 people entered the goat glue, which is all purpley, derply, nerply, but you have this shiny, bright green, just sparkly,
Yeah.
you might be like, ooh.
Well, we took third.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
So
we
it
took
worked.
third. So we took third.
It worked.
Nice.
But yeah, I saw a lot of purple in everybody's strand. So I mean, it all depends on what expression you want from the plant.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So
Temperature.
the hotter you run the room, you'll get that more lime green true expression.
Yeah.
Versus a colder temperatures. Colder the temperature and the more you flush, you'll get those fall colors coming out of it.
Does it matter what type of strain you're growing? If you're growing an indica plant or you're growing a sativa plant, or you just doesn't matter? You keep it at that temperature.
All the plants get
All the
treated
plants
the same.
get treated the same. Okay.
All my plants get the same feeding regimen. Just the height.
Feeding is different, yeah, but I'm just talking about temperature wise. When I grow something that's like, when I grow an indica, a style plant,
Right.
I keep that shit at like 77. But it doesn't turn purple on me. I just keep it at that temperature because they're short, stocky.
Right.
I'm just asking if I'm doing it right or wrong. And then if I'm having like a sativa style plant, I'll keep it at like 79 to 82. Because
I mean,
I
it
want
all
them to grow
depends
long.
on the strain and how
Right.
sativa dominant it is, indica
Okay.
dominant, because everything's a hybrid these days. So I guess it all depends on how far it leans.
True.
But,
I agree.
For me, I keep everything collectively the same, pretty much. For
Nice.
all the
You like it
plants.
hot.
No, just for that goat brew, I did that. But like right now, I'm running. I'm at like week 6 of flower, and I've got it down to like 76, 77 degrees.
I'm bummed right now because I don't get to see your plants right now because I lost my account.
know.
I'm very bummed. But but you were talking about curing though, because I think a lot of people don't cure right, and especially in the big game industry. I know a lot of the craft growers that do, a lot of the underground traditional market growers do, legacy growers do. They do it right because you can tell that difference of a smell. What's your little, like I have a little grow tent, so I'm just talking about for somebody that has a maybe a room, you know.
Don't rush it, man. Everybody wants to go, and I think a lot of the problem is people are curing too soon, so there's still a lot of moisture content.
So you keep it hanging for a little bit longer, or
I have a room to where it's almost like a humidifier. What do they call that? Like a cigar bar where you keep the cigars.
Yeah.
But my dry room stays the same temperature. I can keep something in there hanging for 4 weeks, go trim it, and then jar it, or trim it that day. And like some of the stuff I've brought to you, I've trimmed that night and brought it to you. So I mean, as my stuff is drying, it's also curing, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not putting it in jars for 6 weeks.
No, not
you don't
necessarily.
need to.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. The last entries that we did in Michigan, dude, they got trimmed and went right to Michigan the next week.
So you're dry curing,
Dry
basically.
curing,
Okay, that's kind of cool because you have a certain room that does that.
Right. And then the way everything harvests, so we have like a staggered harvest. So sometimes I can't trim everything at once. So like
Right.
I can't get to it. That room, the temperature in that room allows it to sit. So if I can't get to it
You're
for like
aging
a week
it like
or
a
two,
fine,
so
like a
I
cigar.
like that.
Basically.
it's
You're,
it's
it's
kind
like
of
you're aging cigars.
kind of like the way you said with that room.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
stays a certain temperature.
yeah.
So that room kind of is
this
the
here,
same.
the crawl
Yeah.
space. If I kept it in the crawl space, it just gets a little too cold in the wintertime. But if I can probably store weed in it, it'd stay for years.
Because
of
all
the
I did was
temperature and
just
stuff.
sealed off the window, closed the vents, and in the winter is like the sweet spot because
Yeah.
that room is perfect,
Perfect.
for
Yeah.
winter. And then in the summer, you unplug the vent and then you have the AC to cool it down.
Right.
Nice.
That's cool.
Do you help with the trimming, T, and all the? Do you help with any like?
Hell yeah.
You the trimmer. You come over and you got to do all the bagging and cutting and getting all the shit ready.
And repotting everything, whatever you need me to help him out with. That's all I could do.
I love it. I love it. What's your favorite part of the grow, or favorite part? Is it when you get to smoke it, of course, but in between watching the plant and to where you have to trim it and put it in jars? What's the point that you get to see? Because you're not at the, you don't have it in your house.
Yeah.
But when you get to go over there, what's the parts you appreciate the most?
Really, honestly, when we just sitting around just transplanting,
Nice.
just straight transplanting or defoliating, we just sitting there and we chopping it up, maybe listening to your podcast actually.
Hey, thanks.
And we just sitting there talking and just going through it. It's gonna take us a while, so we just sitting there doing it, just getting through the
I'm
task.
hanging out with you for 2 hours and I'm not even there. It's great.
Don't
Just like getting like a Zen mode and
Yep.
trim.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
that's
yep.
nice. Peaceful.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I appreciate that. Was that you, Mrs. Weedman, right? What are you most proud of? Oh, here's me.
Yeah,
Because we did
let's
kind of
see.
go into what terpy, they're just so fucking terpy, man. Like she said they were juicy. What's the ancient Chinese secret, huh? To like get them that terpy. They don't know
That's
that.
from Palm Olive commercials when we were kids.
When we were kids.
Keep everything simple, man. I'm using Front Row AG. If anybody wants to know, it's a 3-part system. You have your A and B, and then you have your bloom. Your A and B is your veg, and then your bloom is obviously for your flower. And I use 2 other additives. I use Grow Big by Mendocino and Terpinator. So if you're wondering where the terps come from, it's Terpinator, and I use that. Believe it or not, I feed my veg plants week 3 of flowers. So anything in veg gets a week 3 flower feed. So that Terpinator is implemented from day 1 in veg all throughout.
Are you soil?
Correct.
Soil. So you're
ProMix HP.
Okay.
It's like a cocoa-based soil.
I like soil.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
And you do
I'm old school.
like cocoa perlite.
It's a 70-30 mix. Sometimes 80-20. But I always throw a little cocoa perlite in there, so just like as a little bit of mixture, just so it's not so heavy, that soil, because I sometimes, you being a newbie grower, you overwater every once in a while, and if you don't have a little bit of looseness in there to get it through, I've done it once, you fuck up your fucking roots.
Yeah, lifesaver, yeah.
Yeah, so I do a 70-30 mix. So like I said, the now that I have what you use, the Terpinator, I'm excited that I know that. Because I tell you, when I start my next grow, I'm going to be looking at some of I've done 70 shows of the Grow Hour now. We just released 70, and then having you on too, you both on, telling you a little bit about your grow. I've learned so much to one day when I have a nice, not my 2-plant tent that it's just a hobby right now. It's not a serious, one day when I get to have a serious greenhouse and I get to grow, I have everybody's ancient Chinese secrets. And I love it.
Put it all together.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's how I learn.
Yep.
I learn I've learned so much in my life from different people, and I've always used certain things that I take from conversations. I haven't had an original idea my whole entire life. Never. I don't. I feed off of people's ideas, and then I try to do it my way, though, add a little bit of this to it. But that's the only way I learn. I learn by someone teaching me and doing, and I never forget it. So after hearing these shows so many times, one day I'll be able to implement it all, because I've learned so much, and then take a little bit from you, take a little bit from Big Earl, take a little bit from all these guys and gals and people I've had on the show all these years. I've learned. And that's why I love it.
And that's the cool part about the craft area of growing, right? Because everybody is really passionate about what you're doing it because it's what you love and what you guys are really passionate about.
Yeah.
So you're putting your effort in and you're growing your plants your way. And no matter, you get information from all these different channels and people. So you take out of that what works for you, and your plant and someone else's, even though you've got the same information available, are going to be different plants. Because you're just like, a lot of it is intuition. Once you get to understand the grow and what you need to do to care for the plant, then it becomes intuition, and that plant, I know exactly what it needs today, and you feel it, and you're, like they say, you got to talk to your plants.
Yeah,
they have feelings.
I love trimming, and I don't have a lot of plants to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about defoliating.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a whole nother.
I like. I don't even mind trimming, but I don't have as much to trim as you. 2 plants I get a lot for 2 plants, 7-8 ounces. I'm trimming up. It's nothing. Mrs. Weedman hated it. She didn't realize she did an outdoor grow.
This goes on forever. Do you really
I'm
have
not
to trim
helping
all
you.
this?
It's your first grow. You got to do the whole thing by yourself. And she's like, and I only
I'm like,
got one little
how many
stub, one
plants
little
do
plant.
people grow?
And I'm like, just think about 500 plants.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
It's a lot,
It's a
right?
lot of work. And but I do love defoliating. It's like probably my favorite part of it when you're working
You
with
roll
your
a fat
plants.
joint, you throw on some good music, and
I
you
just
I did about
defoliate,
6
cut,
hours of
trim.
that today.
Yeah, I don't mind defoliating because to me it's peaceful, and then I take a lot of those leaves. And Yuki eats them. She loves them. She'll eat like 2 or 3 of them. They'll fuck her up. There's nothing in it. It's just CBG. It's not bad for her, CBD, depending on what you're growing. She'll eat those leaves up like lettuce, and then I take a bunch and I juice them.
Nice.
I love that, but try to use. The only thing I haven't been able to use yet is the roots.
Okay.
So, but I've tried to use the whole entire plant. I'll sit there and chew on stems the whole time. I just put them like toothpicks in my mouth and dry them out and just eat them. You gotta use. Don't waste the plant. The whole plant's good for you. The whole plant's good for you.
It
chew
is.
On, if you get some seeds you're not going to use, chew on those. The Chinese did it back in fucking 5,000 years ago. That's how they chewed on hemp seeds. That's why they live for a fucking 120 years and they're smart. So, how do you balance tradition with innovation in your growing methods? You've been doing it for 10 years now. You've probably met a few people along the way.
Yeah.
Do you keep a little traditionist to it, or you just, you know?
Definitely tradition. Tradition is what's working for me. Hand watering. So I haven't went the traditional route with the drip system. So
Right.
CO2. I haven't done that, but that might be in the works. Just I guess finding what works for you, because whatever works for somebody else, new technology wise or whatever, it may not work for you. So
Right.
just keep it simple.
Silly. Keep it simple, silly.
That's just a rule for life.
Yeah.
Like live by it, right?
T, what have you noticed since, how long have you been working together?
So yeah, about like COVID, so about 4 or 5 years.
What have you noticed in his, anything in his growing techniques have changed, or has it been pretty consistent since you've seen it?
That's pretty consistent. The consistency over time, you know, like I said, it weeds down it makes the process more efficient. So then we get to that point, then he's just like, it's consistency now at this point. It's just boom. Now at this point, it's more like honing his craft even more to just like, he's always trying to attain something even better. Cause he comes to me like this mad scientist, kind of like Rick. And I'm just sitting over here being Morty half the time.
we can
Good balance, right?
we got a Rick and Morty beaker, man. We haven't smoked out of that.
I saw it over there. I saw it, noticed it.
Oh yeah, we got a few Rick and Morty. How you doing, guys, over there? It's been a while. Back in the day, in the early days when I had the sons on, as I call them, my son and Dov Boy and T. That's what we smoked out of during the show back then. We praised the Rick and Morty bong, man. That's in the early episodes 1 through 6, and then Mrs Weedman came out about episode 15. Goes, I can't smoke no bong. I won't be able to do the show.
Yeah.
But she spits in the bong. She spits in, doesn't suck it out. So that's her problem.
I drooled.
I'm the same way.
I did. I'm like, there's too much to do. He's like, keep your mouth open, light it, pull this. I was like,
Pull. She was tripping back. What are you doing?
I drooled one little bit of drool.
Oh my!
I'll never live it down. Never.
We had a friend over, one of our son's friends, right?
First time smoking a bong.
Ever did a bong, and he
With
put
all of his high school guy buddies sitting in a
first time
circle.
ever. He's like, "What do I do?" And he put his whole mouth over it.
He put the bong in his and we're like,
Oh no.
I'm like, all right, man, we know what you do outside of here.
Right,
but
you've done this
dude,
before.
What the fuck is going on? Like, you just probably like a bunch of just water came out of your mouth and went into the bong. What are you doing, kid? Oh man, I was.
poor guy. They still have a good laugh about it every once in a while.
Oh man, who helped you get your start?
Man.
And who'd you look up to when you first kind of started out? Like, who were the G's that you kind of looked at, OGs you looked at? And what about right now? You too, T. Like, you've been around doing it now for some time. And you were also out in Seattle, too, so...
No pressure.
No, I can't help you there, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
There's like not a code name, like who helped you, showed you how to grow? Like, was there somebody like mentored you?
For me, it was just wanting to grow my own products. So I started off myself, and then it kind of ventured off into my buddy Josh in Michigan.
Okay.
So I was kind of the influence for him. And this was like 10 years ago. Then he actually went to school for botany and got a degree. And then he started honing in the craft. And then I got back in contact with him when COVID started. And he helped me hone in everything now. So like right now, I guess you could say I look up to Josh. Like he's
Sweet.
he's the one that's helped me dial in everything that I know now and implement everything how I have been. So yeah, I would say.
Sweet.
That's cool.
Hi, Josh.
What's up, brother?
We'll get to meet you one day. We'll come out to MI and hang out.
Yeah.
So, T,
That's the case. Then it's the homie here.
There
I
we
go
go.
over there.
I love it.
He's always dropping knowledge on me. He's like, do you understand? I'm like, of course. Just keep talking. I like it's all absorbing. It's like I just might not look it, but I'm paying attention.
If you're smoking the whole time, you're smoking that lake effect. I can see why sometimes you're faded.
I'm faded now. Sitting over here looking like, am I maintaining right now?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. We could smoke more.
Ms. Weedman, I think the next one is it me or you?
Nope.
I think it's you.
We were going to start talking about the community.
Yeah.
So the question is, how important is the cannabis community to your work? Well, we all know how important the community is. I think right now, I feel like the bigger question is, how do we capture the community? Because not everybody's on social media, and that seems to be the highway to kind of getting to the cannabis community of Illinois and Chicago. But how do you find your community? Do you have concerns about getting your reach and where you find people who want to find you? Because there's people out there that want your, they want your product. They want our product. They want to hear the things that we talk about. But it's more and more challenging, especially with social media, to find them. So, community.
I would say word of mouth.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is the best advertisement. Back to like you said at the Bean event when you came there, it's when people come there and they don't have the money to spend and you do that favor for them, that resonates with them, and that might be a story that's told to somebody else, and now they want to come to the Bean event or whatever the case may be and have that same experience or get that bag of lake effect that person got. But yeah, I'd say word of mouth.
That one regular we had, remember, she brought like 10 people back. She was at the event and she just...
Yeah, there was a lady that was there.
They always say that the best thing you can have is a happy customer, a customer who loves you. Yeah, because
she was there.
All they're going to do is talk about you.
Yeah.
Right?
She was there with her family, her husband, daughter's boyfriend's friends, and she came to the table, got a pre-roll. And then I think for like the next 30 minutes, she was hauling everybody that she had came with back to the table, like literally dragging them by the ear, by the shoulder. Hey, come here. But I mean, it's things like that. Word of mouth, I think, definitely goes a long way in the community. And without the community, there wouldn't be us. So, I mean, the community plays a big part in everything that we do and stand for and try to move forward. And, break the stigma, as you guys say.
Yeah, totally. And part of it, too, like, we're trying to reach the community and we go to these events because that's where the people who know about us are, but then we have to figure out a way to get beyond them. And that's where our reputations and the service we provide to people. I mean, think about it. We're all old enough to know like good customer service. Yeah. And now that everything's online, you have the ability to like have zero interaction with a person and get the things that you need to live. And so we're a much more instantaneous society and less personal contact. And there's people who really want the service. They want to know.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And so.
The service with convenience.
Yeah.
First time I was in California to be able to buy legal weed. And we were hanging out with a friend. And I'm like, oh, is there a dispensary, man? We're out of weed. And he's like, you don't have to go to the dispensary. I was like, why? He's like, 12 minutes later, my brother's hanging the bag up, smiling, happy day. And he's like, he didn't have to leave the bar.
They delivered curbside.
He didn't have to leave the bar.
Sorry.
It was absolutely amazing. He was so happy. And that's
right,
that was like 2016, 2015. He was... he goes, man, I want to move to California just for that. Convenience.
I just experienced that for the first time 2 or 3 years ago in California. That's how I found lemon cherry gelato. I was at the hotel and then they got the weed delivery. I saw lemon cherry gelato, had it delivered from the dispensary, fell in love with it. And then as soon as I came back to Chicago, I had to find it. And then I found it from somebody in California where I just was, and I ended up sending it up to the mail. So I've had that strand for 3 years now.
Nice.
Thanks to a mail service.
Sweet.
There it is,
Sweet.
right there.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
So I'm a newbie grower, let's just say. You're hanging out, chilling. What would be the best advice you'd give me just to get my start growing? Like if I wanted a home grow, my little basement grow, something simple. Like what advice would you give me?
pH meter and invest in a good water supply.
Okay. All right. T,
Yeah.
since you got to do all the trimming, what advice would you give somebody?
Good stress routine.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. There it is. Yeah, because you're crouched a lot, right?
Yep.
Why don't you just buy one of those desks that raises up? You know, you can buy
I don't
those.
like standing
electric-
either. It's like weirdness for tall people.
Right.
It's weird to stand. You just usually want to sit somewhere and just go about it.
Oh,
Stretch.
shit. Yep. Stretch routine, everybody. I like that. No, that's good.
Yep. Oh, is it my question again? I guess I should just keep my glasses on. That would make sense, right? Since I can't see.
them
I know.
anyway.
I know.
You
They just
can't see
bug me.
without-
They bug
you
me.
can't see without your glasses at all.
All right. So, are there trends in genetics and breeding? And if there are trends, does that impact you? Do you care about them? Do you try to stay ahead of them?
I don't pay attention to the trends.
No.
I have like a specific target or something that I'm specifically after, and then it pretty much correlates to what the feedback that I get after I've done a pheno hunt or giving it out to somebody. So I'm after that fruity and that gas. So everything that I've bought probably in the past 6 to 8 months, maybe a year, has been a lemon cherry gelato cross. No. The dung drops of lemon cherry gelato cross.
Okay. The fruity gassy
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
So that's your
Yeah.
that's your niche.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
I think I noticed the what was it? The sour. I have it on the table there. The sour. What was that one called? I get it up. Sorry, everybody, because I can't remember. Oh, where is it?
I couldn't see the name.
Oh, that's the Lake Effect, and that's the sour. The S. Something. What the hell did I have in there? I'm blind as a bat right now. I can't remember. Sorry, everybody. But there was that other one you gave me. That one in this jar right here. Smell that one.
Let me see.
This one is great. I love that one. And a lot of people
It says
like
it
that
on the
one.
front?
It just, I have the initials written down. I can't remember what it was called. I knew I should.
Sub-Zero.
Thank you.
Whoa. A man who knows his product.
I was over
great.
thinking like he's gonna tell him right now.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You know
but
your
I was
plans.
actually trying to
Sub-Zero.
test him right now. I actually knew, but I wanted to see if he knew.
You did not.
Hey, I had to play it.
I
right?
know. I know.
I shot my shot. I tried to win or tried to lose, right? Just like Cologito.
That actually took third place at the small batch grow off.
Nice.
Sweet.
So yeah, we were at another one. What was it, the 17th of October, I believe?
Yeah, I think it was
The
a couple
12th? 12th or the 17th? We had 4 award
Well, tell us
ceremonies
about it
last
because that
month.
was going to be the next thing I wanted to hear about.
Yeah.
So tell us about these cups, man, because I lost my Instagram, but I didn't lose it before I saw the cups. The two of you were smiling, man, ear to ear.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you were, I was laughing. I was like, look at them fuckers, man. They're fucking, I'd be happy as fuck too. I'd be drinking, smoking, making bong rips out of those cups. You guys had them all. I'm proud of you. Nice work, whole team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fucking Illinois,
Thank you,
baby.
thank you,
Coming
thank
into
you.
Michigan and taking not one, not two, not tree, how we say in Illinois, but 4 motherfucking cups. The
sir.
4
Yes,
horsemen
sir.
right there.
We missed a full sweep by 1 first place.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Pretty
But it started in April with the cherry tree. It was just we're scrolling on Instagram, came across Gems and Genetics, and we entered back in April. We came in 3rd with the cherry tree. And then we went back in June for the Summer Cup, and we took first place with the dung drop. And then we went back for the Fall Cup, and we almost did a full sweep. There's a little backstory, too, for that. So our original entries didn't make it. So when we took first place in, what was it, the Spring Cup or the Summer? It was the Summer Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took first place in the Summer Cup. Our original entries didn't make it out there. We had to scrounge up backups. So I'm not going to say how the entries didn't make it, but we found out the week of, which was a Monday. The entries were due Friday. So we had to scrounge up new entries that we had just came off of a pheno hunt. So we put in those entries and we ended up getting that first place. So this cup that just happened, we were able to submit all those original entries. So it was 10 entries total that we submitted. 3 in each category, 3 in the sativa, 3 in the hybrid, and then 4 in the indica. And we were able to take first place in the indica, first place in the sativa, third place in the sativa, and then second place in the hybrid.
Dang.
That's awesome. Holy shit.
Home
Yeah.
team.
Yay.
Home team.
That's great.
But yeah, we just we went in. I was just telling him we really just wanted to defend the dunk drop that won first place, and then anything else that transpired or happened was a plus. So we were able to not only defend but also walk away with all the other ones.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Hell yeah.
And we went up against some good competition, man. There was Leaf Doctor. He's a pretty well-known grower in Michigan. He's got, I went on his Instagram page and he's got over 122 collective wins in Michigan.
Wow.
And we were able to beat him out. And then there was also another guy, Landrace Indian. And he had like over 50 or 60 collective cup wins in Michigan. And then here it is, us, little old Midwest Terpzz. Our debut was January of this year.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Sweet.
So
Ride it.
they're
Just
probably
ride the wave.
They're probably like,
Yeah.
"Wait, who are these
Who are these
motherfuckers
guys?"
coming in hot? Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. Yeah.
I love it.
thank you.
Congrats on that. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Man.
You want me
It's
to
you,
ask it?
Mrs.
Yeah,
Weedman?
I know. I'm ready. I'm ready this time.
You don't
And
have
I'm
your
not-
glasses
No,
on.
I don't need them because I know the question.
Hey, how many fingers am I holding up?
Well, put them all out there.
How many
Yeah,
fingers?
sure. All right. The legal market. We got to go there. What's your opinion about weed, flower per se, in dispensaries?
That's
We're not here. Like, please know. Like, we're not here. We don't really.
don't need
we
to
don't bash. We're not
Yeah.
like looking
No.
to like trash talk.
Yeah,
but
there's no- we don't
just
need to
in
worry
a
about
generality.
names.
Like, there's obviously a difference, right? I think that dispensaries are operating and cultivators are operating to produce product like you have, but the challenges are there in mass production, right?
And also and also what they
and
the
regulation
rules and regulations
and
of
how
them,
that changes
right?
the plant. So, what do you think?
I feel with the amount of money that's out there in the industry, they could do better. Better can be done for the people.
Yeah.
There's some people out there spending their hard-earned money at these dispensaries that probably don't get their bang for the buck that they deserve for the money that they've worked hard for. So a lot could be done.
I'll ask a question to go a part of that. Do you, in my opinion, and what I see is the dispensary consumer is being trained to go after 37% THC, very high THC percentage, versus the caregiver grower, like all of us, that look for flavor, smell, quality, taste. THC percentage is fine, but we all know the terps are going to get us baked as hell too, on top of whatever THC percentage it is. I mean, the consumer that comes to smoke weed that we gift basically find so much satisfaction in smoking that weed and happy, and look at and feel and smell and get the taste of what weed should be versus what they're getting at a dispensary, which is nothing wrong. Dispensaries have to make profit and margin.
Yeah.
That's what they're about. Same thing with cultivation. It's profit and margin, profit and margin. I got 20 million into this. I'm paying the government 15% tax on everything and 30% tax on everything. I have to make profit.
Yeah.
And what is the profit that they're going to sell? Probably about 80% of the people that smoke weed don't even know what a fucking terpene is.
No.
Nope.
And they're being steered in that direction because of the taxes on the THC level. So the higher the THC level, the more they're going to pay. And obviously that's the direction corporate America wants these people steered in.
Right. And that's what it's all
It's
about.
not about their wellness overall,
no.
and
It's- that price point.
Right.
How much can we get out of your pocket?
right. And we just always talk. We do talk about in the sense of dispensaries and the legal market is just how backwards it all began, right? Like it just went corporate before it ever went legal mom and pop. Like most businesses start as your neighborhood business, right?
Yep.
And they evolve, and maybe they get a second office or a second store or a second restaurant, and then this guy does really well, and he branches out, right? And then there's a corporation. Like we don't usually create a product and then go automatically to WeatherTech,
Yeah.
size, right? And that's what happened with cannabis. We went from a traditional market to corporate, and there's no happy medium. And it there's it just transpired so fast that we lost a lot.
Forces the little
Right.
guy out of business.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
What they do is they price gouge, and then
Yeah.
the little guy can't compete
Yep.
with the volume and the price point.
Especially if you're in Michigan.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's rough out there. A lot. Yeah, it's going bad. It's
I
going
get flyers
south
in the
real
mail
fast.
from out there.
Huh?
I get flyers in the mail from out there.
Dude.
It's wild. It's like, wait a minute. Why am I getting the flyer all the way from Michigan?
I used to get emails a lot.
But they're
I don't
like, they
anymore.
have to like give their weed away practically.
Yeah.
In some areas,
Yeah,
yeah.
some
I mean,
areas
you can go
they
to
have so
Michigan
much
right
surplus.
now and get 200 milligram gummies. You could buy 6 bags of 200 milligram, 1,200 milligrams for $25.
I was saying, I think the flyer was saying like 2 ounces for $60.
Wow.
I know
A
a buddy of mine
flower.
is buying 28 pre-rolls, full gram pre-rolls right now for like $100.
Throw that out the window.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean,
But
and-
I think in that instance, in a lot of ways, there isn't competition. If people know about you, they know that your product's better, right?
and you build a clientele.
Right. And you build a
become the
clientele,
neighborhood.
and
Yeah.
it's
Right?
a specialty product, right? Yeah.
I mean, Michigan ain't hurting though. I mean,
No.
they did $262 million last month in sales, so
Hmm.
they ain't hurting that bad. There's some people are, but that's just the overall volume of weed that's being sold in that state.
But there's a lot of out of state traffic
Yes.
that's coming
Oh,
up. And
Indiana.
People, yeah.
And Chicago.
Well, even Chicago, because
Yeah.
you go to these farmer markets and there's
Oh, yeah.
products from the dispensaries on these tables.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Crazy.
cheap to buy it there.
Yeah.
So
But he,
cheap.
They
like,
come here and double up
dispensary
their
stuff
money.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so cheap. Like I said, you can get 100, like 50, 80 pre-rolls for like 100.
But that's not really what it's supposed to be about.
No.
It's not supposed to be about taxation.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be about deep discounts. It's supposed to be about providing a good product
Good quality
and
weed.
normalizing a plant.
Yeah.
True, true,
Yeah.
true,
It's not
true.
supposed to be about
What you always say,
All
stomping
this.
the stigma, right?
stomp the stigma and
Right.
like let's just let this stuff be. You know,
Right.
they're talking again about all the rescheduling, and we don't want it to reschedule, right? We just want to change the law, like make it legal and let each state handle it and take care of it and set up their own rules, and then we could have cross-state commerce and things can just normalize. It's just a freaking plant,
Right.
right?
Making it
Come
more
on.
complicated
Yeah.
than what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I still
Yeah.
believe that we all fucked up by not letting it just be a caregiver program. You know, where you just
Yeah, but how long would that last? Because you see what they're going through in Michigan.
well,
now.
they stopped it, unfortunately. But I mean, they're trying to weed them all out, and it's the caregiver program. They got everything all started there. But I still think you don't touch a caregiver program. you don't. You leave
All
that
of
shit
it is just
alone.
too much. It's too much government
just-
interference.
you
It's
just leave it
competing
alone.
with the
Yeah.
it's competing with the
dispensaries. They
got
dispensaries,
five.
and they don't like
They don't
that.
want it.
And I mean, California a few years back had to lower their taxes to compete with the black market. So it's
Right.
things like that that are transpiring. Yeah.
I just want 50 clients. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, right.
That's it. That's
Like
what I've
just-
been saying. I
yeah,
just want
just
50
manage
clients.
your
I can make a
little
good
pool
living on
of
50
clients
clients.
and- yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
leave me alone.
It was all
Bother
alone.
nobody. You
Let me
know,
grow my plants.
yeah. They come to my house. We smoke a little weed. Give them a little weed. See you later. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yo, can I?
oh, you need to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. So, sometimes when you gotta go, you gotta go. Yo.
I love it.
Sometimes you gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah.
So, dispensaries we talked about. Whose weed have you tried lately? Not dispensary weed. I'm talking about the homies, bromies, gromies, everybody that you know. Like, whose weed have you tried lately? That's like kind of like yo, they got some good shit rolling right now. Name a few. Maybe you've grown some of their shit too.
Man, we had some weed from Carissa, the G-Gart. She does the art.
Okay.
She got some weed from Support Dope People, Aaron.
Yep.
I forgot the name of the strand, but Tom had some of it and he passed it to me, and it was pretty damn tasty, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. That one rang a bell. Honestly, I don't smoke too much of anybody else's weed. It takes a lot for me to try, you know.
Yeah.
But that one,
I'm at that point right now. In my weed, I have the
Repertoire,
people that
yeah.
besides my own home grow, I have the people who I have now found.
Right.
And I really enjoy. And there's some other people that I'll try, but I found like my there's
Your
like
certain
there's
growers
like
that you
10
like.
people right now that
Right.
I get weed from that's just out of this fucking world.
I'm the same way. And then, you know, you get free samples from everybody. And
Yeah.
I look
Yeah.
at them sometimes. I'm not smoke this.
My nieces love me for that.
Yeah.
And I give them
My
away.
nieces
Yeah.
love me. They're like, we love you because I get them really good weed from me, my grow.
They can
and then-
never believe it. They're like, this stuff is amazing.
Yeah, just I give them certain strains. I even give them, like, when I get samples from dispensaries too, I give them the samples too. I'm like, here, take the samples. I'll smoke anybody's pre-roll. I don't give a shit. It ain't gonna kill me. But I don't want a whole eighth. I'll just give it to them. They're like, oh my God, you're the best. And then, but stuff left over, they'll come by the house. They're college kids, man. They're 21. They're broke. They love coming to uncle's
They'll
house.
come over like, can I just have a bud?
Yeah.
Yes, you can even have two.
You can have two. Here's a couple of homemade edibles. You're good. See you next month.
Same in my house. So they come over, they're probably like, here you go, take this.
We were just talking about the weed that you got from Aaron.
We
What
were
was,
talking about,
what
like,
was the name of that strain?
I would have to ask Carissa. It was like orange. It was something fruity, like orange or cantaloupe or something like that. Maybe sour tangy, something. I'm not sure, but it tasted really, really good.
Tangerine.
Yeah. It tasted
Yeah, it was
really
good, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we were just asking who somebody is you smoked lately that's like, holy shit, this shit's fire. Like somebody that gave you a nug to try, a homie, a home grower, bromie, whoever.
Honestly, yeah. So Aaron, and then also, but what was it? So when I first met them with City Trees, they gave me, I don't even remember. They gave me a mixed bag of bud. And it was like, wow, this is really good. And I remember telling us like, yo, we need to go talk to them. Like they got
City
some
Trees now that you say it, yeah.
Call it fruit salad.
right.
That's what we call it, fruit salad.
It was just like, they were like, hey, try this. And it was like, what? Like, this is pretty dope.
Nice.
That's fun.
I love it. Yuki. So everybody, if you're watching on camera right now, Yuki E is in Yuki's spot. So
She's like,
that's
hold
where
on,
Yuki
man.
sleeps. That's where
When
Yuki
we're-
stays
when we
we
record, she lays
sleeps
there.
there for about
But
a good-
otherwise, she never sits there.
Yeah, but now you're in her spot, so she's jealous. But we're almost done.
She
So
wants the camera
it's all
time.
right. So let me ask. So I appreciate you both coming on the show, sharing your story a little bit.
Thank you
It's
for
been
having us, man.
It's been awesome to have you on. Tell us where people can find you. Where's the next event you're going to be at? Some handles.
We're hosting our own event November 16th. We're having a Mario Kart tournament. This will be our second quarterly event, so we're going to do it quarterly. So you can find that in my bio at Midwest Terpzz, Midwest _TERPZZ_, and that link is in the bio. Come join us, have some fun. We're handing out trophies, $100 to the first place winner.
Hell yeah.
First 50 people that come in the door get a goodie bag. We'll have some dung drop pre-rolls for everybody.
Sweet.
So come out.
That sounds like fun.
That
Yeah.
sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Where can we get you at, T?
Higher Elevation, 773. It's long, but it's catchy. I don't
I
know
like
how
it.
it works.
I like it.
Catch me there, and usually I'm out and about in the culture somewhere in the community and taking it in and showing everybody what I'm experiencing here. Like I said, I had a good experience in Seattle. It's about just the same here, if not better.
Hell yeah. You're back home, that's why. It's a little different, Well, I tell you what, everybody, make sure you find them. Make sure you support them. Support the local businesses here. They grow some fire fucking weed. I mean, the smell, the taste, the high. It got us baked throughout this whole show, and I'm just about to come down because we've been doing this for an hour, so I'm about to smoke some more. So it's been great. That joint lasted me a whole hour of show.
yeah,
That
right?
high is fucking fire, right?
Yeah, I
That was
didn't
great.
even want to smoke again.
Yeah,
No,
that was good. That was good.
We'd all be
That was good.
sideways, not
Yeah.
talking.
I was high as fuck at one point. I was faded. I was good, man. My eyes were starting to get cloudy. I had to put the glasses on. I forgot. Well, that's why I wear the glasses all the time. For the show, one, because my eyes are always staring at the computer. They start hurting. But then I'm so baked, my eyes would be crossed. These keep me focused, for some reason. I know the green. This is green. It keeps me good, But I was faded there for a second. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to make it through this show. I'm fucking high as hell. So
Yeah, it was coming back to me too fast at one point. I'm like, fuck again. And then I'm in the middle and it's coming back to me.
You're like, no. Well, and then you wouldn't turn because T was telling his story, so you wouldn't look at me because you were trying to listen. But I was trying to pass you,
I know.
and you wouldn't take
And
it, so I
didn't
just
want
kept hitting it.
I didn't
And
want
was
it
like,
right there. I knew it was going to hit, right? I knew it was going to hit. So thank you, fellas,
Yeah.
so much for coming and hanging out. Some pizza we did before the show, some beers.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
we couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
And some
No.
friends
Yeah.
smoking
Great
joints. But
night.
make sure you catch both of them out in the market, hang
Yes,
out with
sir.
them, ask questions. I usually sometimes carry their weed when they sponsor the table. So ask questions. Make sure you give these guys a follow and support fucking amazing growers and amazing people, because these two dudes have been following us. We've been following them around for a couple of years now. And we appreciate the fuck out of you. Thank you so much, man.
Wait, one more
Thanks
thing.
for having us, man.
You're a veteran.
Yes.
Happy Veterans Day. Thank
There
you.
it is.
Sir.
Thank
But
you for
more
serving.
importantly, it's the Marine Corps' birthday. On
It
Sunday.
is. What number? Like
Woo, I am bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's high. No, I know.
250-ish, something-ish, 260.
Not that old.
It's old.
old.
No, I
that
think it
old?
was like in the 240s or something.
240s?
when
Right
our
in
son was
Philadelphia,
in,
1776, in a tavern.
See, you knew
The
that.
first thing.
He knew that with that question.
And this one was a beer. This one was sign up and get a beer.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So,
well, thank you
it's
for
gonna be,
thank you for
it's gonna be-
serving.
It's going to be
Yep.
America's 250th birthday, right?
Yeah, our
250th. Yeah, in 2026, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
1776, 250 years. I know math
Oh, so the Marine
sometimes.
Corps would be right around
Right
that
around
age.
there. There it
Yeah.
is. So thank you for serving. We appreciate you.
Thank you,
Ms. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman.
you got anything else to say?
Let's get high.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. We love you out there. Be kind. Have some fucking fun. Enjoy life like we did tonight. We appreciate y'all out there. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puffing away.
Puff, puff, pow.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.